Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you how to crop, resize, and export an image using Preview. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So if you need to change an image by cropping it, resizing it, and then exporting it in some different format, you can do that all in the Preview tool that comes with your Mac. You don't need a third-party app for that. So I'm going to double click on a JPEG image here in the Finder. It's going to open it up in Preview by default. Now the first thing I may want to do is crop an image. After all, if you want to get something to a smaller size, the first thing you may want to do is crop out unnecessary parts of the image. Now there is a crop tool, but it's usually grayed out. What's happening here is you need to select something first. So when you're working with an image, you should have a crosshairs cursor here, and you can just click and drag to where you want and then grab any of the edges or corners. Figure out what part of the image that you want. I'll just crop out some of the edges here, and then you can use the crop tool. You can always go to the markup tools here and then click on the selection tool to make sure that you get the selection rectangle there, and then can go ahead and use crop or just Command K. So now I've trimmed a lot here. The file's already going to be smaller if I export it. Next, let's resize the image. Often when an image is too big, it's because it's a high resolution image and you may not need a high resolution image in your current situation. So you can go to Tools and then adjust size. Now you get this pretty complex little dialog box here, and you could resize using this. You just need to take the time to learn how this tool works. You've got Fit Into, and you can select a certain number of pixels. Or you can choose your own here. Now, by default it's going to be set to percent. So if I wanted to say resize everything by 50%, I can easily just type 50 there, and it's going to resize everything, and you'll see the resulting size here and the resulting file size as well. Now you could change this to pixels, and then you can actually see the real pixels here, and say if I want something to be 800 pixels wide, it'll automatically do the height to match the width, and I can distort the image by changing one dimension but not the other. In general, you want to have these locked. Set the width or the height. Resolution really doesn't matter. Unless you're doing special print work, a pixel is a pixel. Having a 300 pixels per inch or 72 pixels per inch doesn't really matter. These checkboxes here, this one scale proportionally maps to this same function there. And then you want to have resample image turned on. Otherwise, you can't change the number of pixels. It's just going to change the resolution. And again, that's probably not what you want to do. So you get to a resulting size here, and you can click OK. So now you've got a much smaller image there. Let's zoom in a bit, and we can see it's still pretty decent quality, but obviously it's going to be a much smaller file. It's been saving the changes this whole time, as that's how Preview works. If I get information on the file here now, it will be much smaller than it was before. So at this point, I could just close and leave Preview, and I'm set. I don't need to export. But exporting will help you convert it to another file format or a different quality level. Let's go to File and then Export. And here this allows me to export using various formats. HEIC is the new modern format that will highly compress an image but still keep the quality. But it's not compatible with older computers. And then you could choose JPEG or some other standards here as well. When you choose HEIC or JPEG, you do get to choose quality. So I can lessen the quality here and export a copy. So it's not going to change the original when you export. This will be a new copy, and you can see it's going to be a smaller size but lower quality. Let's do that. And if I quick look this image here, it's definitely lower quality there, but I get that smaller file size as a benefit. Now if you're thinking this isn't very many options when exporting, there are other formats and maybe you need to use a special format. Well, hold down the Option key when you click this, and now you've got a ton of other formats here. So you can choose one of these if you need to. Now one of the things I showed you that you may not have liked is the fact that this image here is now different than the original. The cropping and resizing has been automatically saved, and I've changed the original image. Well, what if I didn't want to do that? Okay, I'm going to undo here and go back to the original image. So now I've taken away the cropping, I've taken away the resize. If I get info here, you can see I'm back to a full-size image. A quick way in Preview to actually crop and create a new image at the same time is to select and then instead of cropping, do a quick edit copy or just Command C and then a quick File New from Clipboard or Command N. So Command C, Command N, and now I've got a new unsaved document that's been cropped to the size. I've left the original one alone. And now I can go in with this new one and adjust size, change the size here, and then export, and then save this out. And if I want, I don't even need to save this file here. I can just delete that one. And I've got my original file still intact. And I've got the new file here cropped, resized, and exported. You could also select an area, Command C, Command N, and do your resizing. And then instead of saving or exporting, click the share button here and then you can click Save Mail and it will automatically attach that image to a new mail message and you could send this and never have to save or export a new copy. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.